Today I will try to speak about one band that is not of my favorite bands, but until now I listen every album of them. I'm speaking about OPETH from Sweden, and if we're speaking about the band started in the beginning. Michael Akerfeld, he had another band by the name Eruption from 1987 until the beginning of the 90s. Afterwards, he came to a band by the name OPETH, the band of David Iceberg. And David Iceberg, he was in the band until 1992. And the name of the band, OPETH, they took it from a novel, Songbird, the name of the novel, of Wilbur Smith, and there the name OPETH, okay? It was the meaning as City of the Moon, something like that. If we're taking OPETH, until today they have 13 albums, and we can rank their albums to and separate their albums to three different periods. We have the first period with the two first albums. There they have even more black metal influences in their let's say progressive melodeath of them. But afterwards, from the third album until the ninth album, they became the classic style of progressive melodeath that we know them. Okay, there are many, they're very influenced by Ends of Sanity, of course, and from Dan Suano. And he was also in the production of their first two albums of them. And afterwards, from the 10th album until now, this is the new period of OPETH, that they are even more, they are progressive rock. Right, also in the album Damnation, they played progressive rock, but from Heritage and until now, this is their new style. Okay, so I will try to make a worst to best, rank their albums to worst to best, and I know that this is one of the bands that many people also people that they like the band very much, and also people that they listen to the band, but they're not followers. But in any case, you can find so many different ideas about the ranking of their albums. Okay, so in my personal taste and opinion, in the 13th place for me comes the album Heritage of 2011, their 10th album. And here, yes, there are many people that will agree that this is let's say the worst album of them, not only because they are playing progressive rock, not only because this is the first album of the new era that they are not progressive melodeath, they are not melodeath, and they are not even metal, because Damnation was even before. But if we're making if we're speaking about Damnation, this was a good album. Here in Heritage, they try to find themselves. Now, in the 12th place, and here people that will say, why you are putting this album in this place, okay? I will put their 7th album of 2003 and speak about the album Damnation. I said before that this is also a good album as a prog rock album, but when it came out, this was not for me. This was not the real classic Opeth sound. In reality, Michael Akerfeld, after one member of Catatonia, of his friends from Catatonia, he said to him that that it's a good idea to make an album, a double album, one even more death, the other even more progressive. And in the beginning, he wanted to make a double album, and Deliverance and Damnation, they had to be one album. two sides of one album, but the music company sent to him separate the albums in two different albums, and so not a bad album as progressive rock, but not my personal taste of music. Now, in the 11th place, the very 11th album of 2014, Pale Communion. This is also prog rock, but even more better than Heritage. And in the 11th, in the 8th, in the 10th place, there, and here also many people, they will not agree, I know, their fourth album of 1999, and I'm speaking about the album Still Life. And I know, for many people, this album, this is the beginning of the classical area of OPETH. And for many people, and they are right, this is the album that from here they started to be OPETH, how we know them. And also, this is the album that opened the door for the Blackwater Park. And that's right. But personally, this album does speak to me. Okay, also this is a concept album. But if someone wants to know what is Opeth, definitely I will say to him, go and find Still Life, Blackwater Park, and maybe even Ghost Reveries. Now, in the 9th place, their 12th album, Sorcerers of 2016. This is also progressive rock, and for me, this album is great. Great as prog rock, great album. I liked it so much. In the 8th place, their 9th album of 2008, Watershed, also an album that when it came out, I was not so I didn't like it so much, but today I can say that this is a great album. Yeah, it continues where Ghost Reveries left, even more, a little bit more progressive, but this is also the last album when we listen Opeth to play until now, to play Melodeath or to play progressive Melodeath, or that they play with and they sing with growls. Mike Agerfeld sings with growls in this last album. Afterwards, he left the growls at all. In the 7th place, their last album, the 13th album of 2019, In Cauda Venenum, with this Latin title. They made the album with two verses, one in Swedish, they sing in Swedish, the other in English. Many people prefer the Swedish version, and I agree. Here I have both of them. In any case, for me, this was a great album of 2019, and here we can find even more metal influences from other progressive rock albums of them. And now, in the 6th place, another album that many people that they like Opeth prefer it very much, their third album of 1998, My Arms, Your Hearts. Also a great album, and I think that from here they start to play their classical style. Okay, from here and afterwards Still Life, and afterwards Blackwater Park, of course. Now, in the 5th place, one great album, their eighth album of 2005, Ghost Reveries. And why I place it even more than Still Life, even more than My Arms, Your Hearts? Because this is the first Opeth album that I came in contact with it. The first Opeth album that I listened to it. And this is also classical style of Opeth. A great album. 4th place, their second album of 1996, Morning Rise. A great album with also black metal influences to it. even less, okay, a little bit less from their debut album, but a great album. Here also we have the great song Black Rose Immortal. And now in the third place, and here also many people will say what you are doing. I will place their magnus opus of them, their fifth album of 2001, and speak about Blackwater Park. And yes, this is their magnus opus. This is their the most famous and even most great album of them. Yes. And I said, if someone wants to know what is OPETH, he has to listen to Blackwater Park, Still Life, and Ghost Reveries. But in any case, for me, I prefer the other albums that will come afterwards even more, a little bit more from this great also album. So, in the second place, the sixth album of 2002, Deliverance. And I know this is the followers of Opeth, they like the album a lot. But in any case, this is very underrated. And for me, maybe this is the most heaviest Opeth album until now. A great album of Opeth. And yes, they wanted to make to publish it together with Damnation as a double album. In any case, this is great. And now, in the first place, for me, my favorite Opeth album of all time, and also many people they put it in the last place, but for me here will come their debut album, their first album of 1995, Orchid. And I will put this in this place because in this album, even more than any other album, we can listen the black metal influences to it. Maybe it's also the period 1995. A great album for me, the great album of Opeth with songs In Mist She Was Standing, yeah, Forest of October, The Twilight in My Robe, a great album. So from Israel and from Jerusalem, stay metal, stay heavy, and until now, stay safe and stay home.